Com brought to you by Big Dog Tech Solutions. Dr. Lance Forbes, Diamond Dental in Cedar Rapids. Streets Maintenance, doing remodeling and plumbing. The Oxyoke Inn in the Amanas. Premier Automotive in North Liberty. Senior Benefits. Diamond Dream Sports Academy. Harty and Stocker Jewelers, 101 South Dubuque Street, downtown Iowa City. The Midtown Family Restaurants. Supple's Flowers, home of 1-800-800-ROSE. GT Car and his crew at Supple's Building and Remodeling. Mike's E-Keys for Cars. Steve Anderson, Hawkeye Title and Settlement. And Patrick Eads and his staff at Deary Brothers Ford on Mormon Trek. And I got the Supples coming out today, finishing up the work in my house. So.
You mean the cars?
Huh? Well, the cars, yeah.
GT is going to do it himself?
No, he's...
So it could be Supples, I guess.
It's Rick.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they're coming out, I think, noon or 1 or something like that. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'll get that all finished. Here's Tom Suter.
Well, just have to put some spackle in it and they're done?
Some paint or something. Yeah, I don't know. I don't do construction.
You don't?
They filled the hole.
Oh, good.
And here's Pat Harty from HawkFanatic.com.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah.
Beautiful weekend.
Yeah, weather-wise, yeah.
Yeah. Of course, we picked yesterday to go to the baseball game.
First game I covered, too, yesterday, and they lose.
0-1.
Heller was not happy. He was using the word freaking.
Yeah. Well, our bats were kind of cooled, and they hit some bombs.
He said Iowa laid a freaking egg. That's what he said. I mean, it was interesting because Nebraska didn't play very well. They committed 4 errors.
4 errors.
And now the one error Iowa did take advantage of because the next batter got a run scoring.
Yeah.
But the other ones, they did not do enough to take advantage of it. No, Nebraska I didn't think played very well at all. But it was a weird game. I mean, that's how Rick described it. But they're to the point now where winning series isn't good enough for them. They wanted that sweep, of course. And Gable Mitchell brought up an interesting point. They've lost their last 2 games on Sundays. The third games of these series, and he's like, the Big Ten championship games on Sunday. We gotta figure this out. But they're still 14-4 in first place, and
second place.
Or second place. Well, who's in first now?
UCLA.
What are
although they've played 3 last games.
I mean, it's hard to really. I mean, what's UCLA's
They're
record?
12-3, and we're 14-4.
So I guess they're probably isn't that almost a tie?
Percentage-wise, they're at 800, and we're 778.
Okay. So
I mean, it's a virtual tie.
It's a virtual tie for
it
first
is.
place. It's hard to really even say who's in first place when one team has played 3 more games than the other. But they went into yesterday as the Big Ten leader, and they still won. They've won all 6 of their series. The place was packed again yesterday. The fans are engaged. And now comes the tougher part of the schedule. Nebraska's not very good. They're 5-10 in the conference, 16-20 overall. Mm-hmm. But now come the tougher teams. They still got to play Oregon. They got to play Washington. They got to play. Don't they have to play Indiana? Oregon
play
State
at Michigan this week.
At Michigan, and Michigan was 8-7 going into. I mean, Michigan's definitely good enough to beat Iowa, but they're not a power by any means.
No, they're 8-7 and 22-14 overall.
And it's there, so that'll be a tough series. If they could win that series too, and don't they still have? I know they have to play Oregon. They have to play Oregon State, which is going to be interesting because they're always good in baseball. And then don't they play Indiana?
I don't have their schedule.
Oh, I thought Indiana was on their schedule, but yeah, this weekend they're at Michigan, and so we'll see. I mean, they've had a great season. Nobody expected them to be where they are right now, and I wish they played UCLA I wish they played them here. That would be a fun series, and it would be packed. I mean,
it would.
And they've made some facilities upgrades. You see they've got the new building. I mean they've done some upgrading, but they really need to fix the stands, the seats, and the press box. That's the 2.
Yeah, and the field itself there's new.
Yeah, the field's all. I mean, it's fine. Yeah, the field itself is fine, but no, they need a bigger press box, and they just need more seats.
Yeah,
you saw how many people were lined up against the fence,
uh-huh.
And then down the right field line, there's nowhere to line up because it's all taken. It's space that's being used by the team and what have you. So they need more seating because if they continue to have success, I think there's games where they'll draw 3,500 people. They had almost 27 there on Saturday, but yeah, never expected them to be 14-4 at this stage. So it's been a fun season so far. And how about the softball team? They swept Indiana, swept Maryland. They're 7-6 in Big Ten play now. Their overall record. What is it? I remember typing it in.
25-15.
Yeah, softball team's having a
pretty good
decent season, man. Under all these circumstances, and they're pretty good. Yeah, they're halfway through the schedule, and they're over 500 in Big Ten play, and they got a chance to win 30 games.
And we host Penn State this weekend.
And what's Penn State's record? Do we know?
6-7.
Okay,
in the Big Ten, 20-20
now,
overall.
if they can win that series, then they got a chance. Could you imagine if this team made the NCAA tournament?
Oh, my gosh.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
What a story.
But it looks like they're going to be, at worst, they're going to be in the Big Ten tournament. It looks like, barring some major collapse. But the longer we go with the way they're playing now, that leaves less time for a major collapse. They're halfway through the schedule.
So how many people make the tournament? Is it...
What was there? Isn't there 3 that don't?
Oh, so it's the same as basketball.
I think so. I can't remember. I think that's what it is.
Well, and if that's the case...
Isn't it 14?
Well, so there's 14 total.
I think. Yeah. I believe that's it. So, but no, they're barring but see, last year they had already started their conference collapse. 13 games into conference play, they were way below 5. This team's playing pretty well. It's not elite. Like I said, it got swept was it at Wisconsin where it got swept?
I believe so.
And they're good, but it's made considerable strides since last season.
Hello.
Hello. Aren't all 14 teams in softball?
Well, there are 17.
There's 17 teams in the conference.
I thought there were 18.
17.
USC doesn't, isn't it?
USC doesn't have a softball, and Wisconsin doesn't have a baseball.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Wisconsin doesn't have baseball.
Yeah. Well, another thing that the baseball needs are the railings over there.
Yeah, that would all go hand in hand with getting more seats.
The only way you can get up those stairs is by grabbing the back of those seats.
Yeah, that will all be
big steps.
That will all be fixed when they upgrade the seating.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping so.
Well, it will. It's just a matter of when. That will be part of the next seats. There will have railings to make it easier. But it's just a matter of when they're going to do it.
And now, does the softball need any upgrading or what?
I think they're
in pretty good shape.
I think their facility seems pretty up to date. I'm hardly an expert, but I've never gone there and noticed huge flaws as far as upgrades and what have you.
There's plenty of parking.
Plenty of parking. And now that area can be a little annoying at 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday or whatever.
For certain.
But, you can't have everything.
Well, don't they also have a lot of people that park down there and then they take another car up to their work? Because every time I go by there during the day, there's always a lot of cars in there, whether there's a game or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows?
Because I think they park in there and then they take another, what do you call those cars with a station wagon or something like that up to the work.
You mean a shuttle?
Yeah, something like that, shuttle. Because it's always full of cars.
Well, you'll have to talk to the parking and transit department at the university.
Talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
All right, Karen.
Well, have a good day.
Yep. I will say I had a burger fresh off the grill there, and it was delicious. Far better than the basketball ones.
Oh, it's softball?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they
baseball,
have good concessions over there.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's a good setup. But the best part is parking. There's just a lot of places to park where, baseball does at certain times. Like yesterday, there was tons of parking for baseball. Yeah. The problem is when a baseball game, like on a Friday night, but rarely do they play before 5 o'clock during the week. Now, they have their Tuesday games, but they play tomorrow. Don't they play Bradley tomorrow?
They do.
And what time's the first pitch? 6?
First pitch.
Or is it earlier?
I'm looking here. Bradley is 6.
6, okay. So the parking, by then, that's not a problem.
And softball's at Iowa State tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a big game. They need to keep the momentum going.
Yeah.
That's the kind of game, just a chance to stack up another win. But, boy, that parking ramp, can you believe how far it's come along?
It's crazy.
Yeah, there's just hardly any room to maneuver over there anymore. It's to think the bubble used to be. Remember when the bubble used to be the biggest thing around there?
Uh-huh.
That big old stain-ridden bubble.
God, now there's just huge buildings.
Think about how silly that bubble was. Now that you think about it, where we are now.
Well, it was
Back in the age, though, it was
at the time it was
like,
state of the art.
God, look at this technology.
Yeah.
And to think I almost brought it down, opening the wrong door. Speaking of technology, I watched I think that's cool. It's amazing what those rockets do.
Yeah.
But, maybe it's just me, but the celebrity flying up and then coming right back down stuff is just, to me, it's just silly.
So who's the celebrity?
Katy Perry and
Gail King
and Oprah's
and then
friend.
there was a scientist.
Why
were the Kardashians?
Am I just being just unreasonable? I just think it's silly.
Why does Katy Perry want to go up in a rocket?
Well, what they do is they fly up to where the border of what is considered the start of space is, and then they come right back down. And technology is incredible.
So it's what Alan Shepard did 60 years ago.
But it's Katy Perry, and they were like, I wonder what song she was singing when they were. It was just
he went farther.
Did he go a little farther?
Yeah, he actually went. They're basically going up, and then when it starts to get really dangerous, then they come back down, right? When you're going through the atmosphere and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's the way those umbrellas opened up, though, when that thing's flying down. That's incredible.
Oh, it's incredible the way that the booster.
Yes,
comes
all that
and
stuff.
lands.
But I kept reminding myself, Oprah's friend and Katy Perry are in there, and it was just.
What I thought was ridiculous. Why are the Kardashians?
Because they're probably friends with Katy Perry and Oprah's friend. I mean,
there's Kardashians in there.
No,
they weren't in the capsule. They were
just
cheering.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was. So I'm not unreasonable to say it's silly.
I don't get it.
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't get it either.
But
I mean, they can do it, and it's neat to do it.
It's another case of people living their life. Oh, it's so. Yeah. I'll never fly up to the nearest space, but my hero Katy Perry did. This is great. What next? They're going to have an NBA team go up there or something. It just seems. I don't know. The Gallagher.
That's what they want to do.
They're going to send They're going to send Oasis up there. But as it's coming down, you see the rocket. They're having a fist fight in the middle of the capsule.
So how much do they have to pay to be on that flight?
I thought
or in the launch, whatever they call it.
God, I don't.
It's considerable.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's considerable. I don't think you're going to see average people start. But I would have no interest in doing that. Would you? I just really wouldn't. I'll leave that stuff up to the astronauts.
50 years ago, probably. But now, no.
I would have never.
I don't
like getting in a plane.
I don't like getting. Yeah, I don't want to be in a capsule.
At one point or another, I've thought about doing, parachute.
Oh God, not me. No way.
But
I hate heights.
I haven't done it. Wanted to do it enough to do it. Let's put it that way.
There's no way.
Jim's done it.
Yeah, there's no way I could do it. I would never.
Jim did it on the air when we were at KFMH.
Jim's an idiot.
Do we have a call?
Yeah. Hello.
I was going to say, I thought the game for the baseball was on Wednesday.
Is it Wednesday?
I thought it was Wednesday.
It is. Tuesday, softball at Iowa State.
I think
Wednesday.
I said, yeah, that was my bad. I must have said yesterday. Or
Wednesday
tomorrow.
Is Bradley at 6.
Yeah, it's Wednesday.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
And then softball's tomorrow in Ames, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a big game for both teams. Well, it's always big when Iowa and Iowa State play.
It is true.
But I'm trying to think, football-wise, have we been on since Sullivan entered the portal?
No.
Okay, I'm hardly a surprise. I was actually surprised he didn't enter the portal shortly after. But maybe he wanted to get a couple of weeks of reps in, and maybe it just wasn't ready. The timing, because you can say you're entering the portal.
Maybe he wanted some current film.
I guess of him doing, work. I don't know what film he would get in spring ball that would be any better or worse than the film he already has. But there's no way he was going to stick around here and be a backup. When I could see him going to a MAC school and starting.
Oh, it's his last year. I know for sure.
I'm actually surprised. I would have been more surprised if he did not enter the portal.
Hey, he started for 2 Big Ten teams. He can certainly start for a MAC team.
I would think so.
You think.
And the timing of it is weird, but with the portal, I think it closes again on Wednesday, doesn't it?
I don't know.
I think it does. I think that's what Rob told me. I don't keep a track of it as much as I should. So of course they're up again. But you can say you're going to leave whenever.
Yeah.
You just can't officially do it until the portal's open, which it is now. And the moment they got Gronowski, Sullivan was done. They were sending Brendan a message saying, we need to get better at this position, and we think we've done it with Mark. And that's just how it works. It's business.
By the way, to go up in space, the Blue Origin costs between $250,000 and $500,000.
I was gonna guess $1 million. Man, that's a bargain.
Yeah.
Well, better get it out, Pat, and do it before Trump loses it.
Not right now. Not the way my retirement's. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna. I'll stick with the bowls of soup. That's about as close to space as I'm gonna get. But all right, what were we talking about again?
Sully.
Who?
Sully.
Oh, yes, but well, I just think that he had to do what was in his best interest. He did that, and I think they're right around the 105 mark right now, 104, 105. But there's still going to be. I still think more guys will leave after the spring ball.
Yeah, probably.
And to ever think that a roster is settled at this time of year, you're just being naive.
Well, especially anymore.
Yeah,
with the portal and all that, it's crazy.
It's year round. It's never ending.
No,
there's always a chance someone, whether it's open or not, is going to go in the portal. And I wish Brendan will. He doesn't know Iowa anything. Iowa doesn't know him anything anymore. I'm sure
we were happy to have him.
Yeah, and he played hard when he was in. But Iowa just felt they needed to get better at the position, and they were able to convince Gronowski to come here, and they feel he's a better option. So we'll see.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. So
we've done this before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well, they're going to keep doing it. This is just the new world.
I know.
Every year we're going to be talking about new guys. I mean,
basketball is just ridiculous.
Well, yeah. I mean, right now he's got 7. Now the roster's up to 7.
Up to 7.
Up to 7. You got a high school kid, and so he's not quite. He's not quite 2/3 of the way through. And the Brennan kid's supposed to be visiting on Saturday and Sunday. But like I said, other schools.
It's not Colt. What is it?
Is it Cole?
Cole. Yeah, that
Cole Brennan. BREN, 6'10" kid. Now you saw the Honor Huff kid, who he can shoot threes. Have you seen his video?
Yeah.
Wow, could they have used him?
Yeah.
Could he spread the floor?
Where did he go? West Virginia.
Yes, I believe it was West Virginia. I mean, he's a legitimate 3-point shooter. I saw enough video. He's got a quick release, not very tall, but I mean, he's got Caitlin range. He made some logo threes from what I was watching. And could you have imagined him and Bennett Sturts and Josh Dix playing at the same time?
That would have been fun.
That would have been. And that's what he's trying to do, but it ain't easy.
No.
You're not going to often get your first options. Fran often didn't get his first options, but they got
never.
Almost never. I mean, sometimes you settle for, or not settle, but you take what you can get. Sometimes it may be option E or F, and you make do with it. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
It's a tough world out there.
And you better have your checkbook.
Oh, yeah. Got to have the checkbook.
Kind of like real life, isn't it, Cap? We got to have our checkbook here.
I hate real life.
I'll bet.
Yeah, I ain't too crazy about it.
Why don't you like real life? Is it just beating you down?
Just beating the hell out of me. Yeah.
But that's where you've got Hunter and Lang and Suter to help you.
I know.
To provide a buffer zone.
Yeah. They don't.
They're not providing any buffer? How about the Cubs, 11-7? I watched a little Cubs baseball yesterday. They were actually on ESPN, so I was able to watch. I didn't realize that they had that Tucker kid out in right field. He's pretty good. Is it Kyle Tucker?
He's been playing great.
Yeah, Kyle Tucker. He's a good player. I know they have Justin Turner, who's been a good player. I watched him strike out 3 times yesterday, but he did get a key walk when they needed one. But no, they're 11-7.
They beat the Dodgers the other day.
2 out of 3,
16-0, and
then lose to them the next day. Isn't baseball a wild sport?
It is.
Yeah, that's just baseball. But no, they're 11-7 right now. They have, barring injury, they seem to be. I'm still guessing somewhere between 80 and 90 wins, but that's pretty broad because if you win 87 or 88 games this year in that division, you may win the division.
You might.
So we'll see. Showing some optimism.
For now.
Well, do it while you can.
I mean, they've played what? They've played 18 games. There's like 800 more left. Yeah, we're halfway through April.
146 to go.
WNBA draft tonight. I think I've seen Lucy as high as like 21st or 20th, which is what? That's
18.
Wouldn't that be middle of the second round?
Uh-huh.
How many teams are there? 12 or 14?
Jim?
Oh, well, they added the Valkyrie this year.
So is it 15 teams?
No, Baker's dozen one at 12,
So it's
144, so it's 13, I think.
Yeah, I've seen her 20th, I think, so that would be mid-second round.
Jim, what was Lucy Olson?
18th. Okay, so that would be early in the second round.
Yeah.
That seems about right.
So around where Megan Gustafson went.
Yeah, and where did Kate end up going? Like 20th?
Kate was
28.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. So second round. I mean, that's that wouldn't be surprised. I could see Lucy making a roster with her ability to score. Sure. I could see. I know Sid. I saw Sid was ranked like 49th, and Sid will have a tougher time making a roster because height-wise, she's a guard.
If she were a couple inches taller,
she'd have a chance. But she's a 5'11" forward.
Yeah.
And that's just tough to do in the WNBA. We'll see if she could make the conversion to the backcourt and play more like a shooting guard, because she did make some threes, but, man, she's a forward, though, just the way she plays. She seems to have more of a frontline forward mentality.
And she's one of those nose for the ball players around under the basket. She's tough,
and that would be
hard-nosed kid.
That would be hard to do that with the height disadvantage.
With 6'2", 6'3",
yeah,
forwards.
They're getting bigger. They're getting bigger in the 6'4", 6'5".
Stronger.
Yeah, they're
faster.
They're getting a lot bigger in the WNBA now. It's becoming a much more physical league, and it's going to be fun watching the Fever. And just think that game's in 3 weeks?
Yeah, May 4th. So, two and a half weeks.
It's going to be rocking in there.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I just wonder how serious both teams are going to be about. I assume the Brazilian team. How serious will the Fever be about winning? Is it going to be one of those games where they play Caitlin hard from start to finish, or since it's an exhibition, will she play? I mean,
I don't know. I mean,
I could understand both if they.
Caitlin's going to be hard and wild-eyed.
Yeah. Oh, I know she will. I just don't know how important it is to them as a preseason game. Just from you know what I mean?
Good question.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they play that out.
And I think they have a exhibition game the day before they come to Iowa City as well. So that could color who plays. How
I don't think you want
Caitlin
Caitlin doing back-to-back 35-minute exhibition games in early May. But who am I? We'll see. But no, it'll be a fun event. It's going to be rocking in there, and it'll be curious to see how good the Brazilian national team is. That's who it is, right?
Yes.
I'm guessing they're pretty good.
I'm guessing.
They'll be pretty.
The interview she gave is just
with Letterman.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I watched. It was good.
Yeah. She's just a freaking pro. I mean, she really.
And
is.
he's a good interviewer. I don't think he's a great interviewer. He's good. I like him better on the Saturday or on his late night forum than in that setup. Yeah. I mean, but he's still good. Don't get me wrong. I'm trying to think who's somebody that's. Like, I think Anderson Cooper's a really good interviewer. And I thought Dan Rather was a good interviewer when he was more active and what have you.
In his day, Bob Costas
great interviewer. I thought Tom Steiner was a good interviewer.
Yeah. And Steve knows from firsthand.
But, yeah, and there's others, too. And I thought it was a neat thing for her to do. And Dave just seems mesmerized by her and Lisa, and
he loves that kind. I mean, he loves basketball.
Now, do you think he'll start? I wonder if he'll. Did he go to any? He went to the one game this year where Caitlin was here.
Yeah.
You think he'll go to any games next year?
Probably not.
It'll be interesting.
I don't know. I mean, that's his team.
Well, I think it's more Caitlin than.
Yeah.
I mean, which fine.
I mean, he may show up for the May 4th game, but why would he come?
I think he went to some of those games before Caitlin.
I don't recall that. No. No, I don't think he went to Iowa games before Caitlin.
No, not Iowa games, but
Fever games.
Fever games.
Oh, that I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, no, he didn't go to Iowa. I don't think he knew that Iowa existed before Caitlin, which is the power of Caitlin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but no, it's good seeing Dave again. He's been gone for so long. I mean,
I've been watching all those interviews he does. I thought they were really good.
I don't dig his beard, though. I'll be candid.
Well, yeah, I don't understand it. I don't know what you just.
I don't know. I woke up yesterday and my hair looked like a rooster, and I finally got a cut. I was waiting for Roberto to cut it for free.
You look like that stock guy that's been showing up on CNN every night. That Tuckman guy. You seen him? They've been having him and some other guy on every night to talk about how horrible the stock market is.
I haven't.
CNN's been having.
I haven't watched.
They've been beating
news at home.
They've been beating that horse nonstop.
Yeah.
I didn't watch 60 Minutes last night, but Trump wants him shut down. He wants CBS to lose its license, and everyone on their side. But aren't they the champions of free speech?
I guess.
It just seems weird that the people who are always screaming for free speech are always wanting to silence people. Too.
I watched the 4-episode arc of NCIS.
Okay, now here's interesting news, Pat, that you probably knew. Your pal Johnny Pascucci going to West Virginia.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it's just...
No, that was like months ago. We wrote about that like probably a month and a half ago.
Well, I wonder what happened. Why it's coming back up again.
I don't know. I remember his dad texted me, but by the time his dad texted me, it was already out. Yeah, no, I wrote about that back in December or January when it happened, when he left right about the semester. Yeah, I don't know why it just came out.
How bizarre.
Yeah, and he's on scholarship, too. I'm happy for him. And he's got 1 year, and sounds like they have big plans for him. Johnny was another numbers guy. I mean, I don't think Iowa had a scholarship for him, and I thought he did well here. He was a good blocker. And for a guy who was a walk-on, he played a lot. He did play a lot, so yeah, I hope it works out for him. But yeah, he's at West Virginia. He was one of the first guys to announce that he was entering the portal once the season ended.
Yeah, now that you mentioned that's right.
Yeah, it came up on mine, too.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Oh, no, he's entered the transfer portal again.
Again? Okay.
That's why it just came up.
God.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess things didn't go well in Morgantown for him then.
Yeah, his dad. I wonder if his dad has texted me.
Wow.
Huh. I doubt he comes back.
That's too bad.
That is weird. I'll have to reach out to his dad and see if he tells. Of course, I'm not going to. He's not an Iowa football player anymore, so I'm not going to report on it. But that is unusual.
Yeah.
Because he entered and I was told that he had a scholarship, and that's weird. I just wonder if it's a numbers game or
I don't know.
Maybe
I'm sure it'll come out. Huh.
If he wants it to come out. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he lands. Maybe he wants to come closer to home. Who knows? West Virginia's a long way. They're from the Kansas City area. Maybe maybe a better offer came up.
Maybe.
I mean,
in this day and age,
that's
very possible.
That's very possible. Maybe a school like Kansas and I haven't talked to his dad for a couple months. Maybe one of those schools he found out what we didn't have for you back in December, we have for you now, and you want to come closer to home, and I'm guessing it's something like that. But no, I'll reach out to his dad after, maybe even during the break, see if he'll text me. But I'm not going to, if he doesn't want it said on the record, obviously I can't say anything on the radio.
Sure.
Because most of the stuff he's told me is off the record about, he told me that he was going into the portal, but he wanted Johnny to announce it, so I didn't do anything on it. But by the time Johnny announced it, all the portal freaks had already, and Bob, he just doesn't understand how that works. But I didn't care, I don't need to be, stuff like it's not that important for me to be the first guy to report somebody on the portal because he told me off the record that he was going to get the portal, but I should have warned him more and said, if you want Johnny to be the one breaking this news, you better make sure he does it quickly because the portal freaks will be all over. They're there. They're just waiting.
They want to say they're first, but it really depends. A lot of it depends on their internet, and
a lot of it depends on their agents too.
Yeah,
agents have a lot to decide on who's first.
Sure, they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's interesting that he's back in the portal after. I mean, he's been at West Virginia. Well, basically, he's been taking the spring semester at West Virginia, I assume.
Well, we imagine so.
So yeah, no, it's hard to keep up with this stuff.
Oh, I know.
I mean, it really is.
Well, how many times can you go in it? Okay, so he goes from
as
West
many
Virginia
as you want
to this.
Yeah.
You can totally be a butterfly.
Yeah. I mean, there's guys that have played. I mean, what's the A.J. Store, the basketball player?
This will be his fifth.
He's had a different school since his 9th grade year of high school. He's been to a different school every year, I believe.
Like 8 years, right?
Yeah, I believe so. And I guess if you'll have wanderlust and you get bored, but man, there is something to be said for anchoring down and having a little bit of stability, isn't there?
There is, but he's getting big checks wherever he's going.
Well, the Kansas experiment didn't work. He averaged 5 points. That was
But
I'm sure his check, but still his value went down.
For sure.
Yeah, and the other problem with that is you go and struggle at Kansas, NBA people are looking at you like, whoa, what happened here? So, he may have gotten some instant money, but in the long run, it may have hurt him to go to Kansas, because I think I did read where he only averaged like 5 points a game.
He did, and maybe it also means he's not good enough to play in the NBA.
Well, I don't think he is, because I'm not convinced John Tonji's good enough to play in the NBA, and he's better than A.J. Storr.
Yes, he is.
And that just shows you how good you have to be to play in the NBA, or you have to be really good at something in particular, like rebounding or defense and something like that. So it will be interesting to see where Johnny ends up. But no, I'll reach out to I'll reach out to Bob and see what I can find out. Yeah. Even though it's not really, I like I said, I would doubt strongly that he's coming back here.
I would doubt, but it'd be
I wonder though if, like I keep saying, Kansas State, Missouri, something like that. If something popped up at one of those schools.
I was kind of a little bit surprised, I guess, that he left in the first place.
Well, he wanted a scholarship.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah, I think he wanted a scholarship, and I'm not sure if there was going to be one there for him, and. It's, as his father, I'm sure Bob wanted a scholarship too. But Kirk's got, I mean, I get it. I'm not like blaming anybody. It's a business. I mean, it's not everyone.
It's getting harder.
And it's getting harder. Yes, it's getting harder. It's almost like you do need a general business manager to run your teams now. And you're starting to see some colleges do that now, especially in basketball. You're starting to see people hire general managers. Now, someone could argue, okay, you're paying the head coach $3 million, AD gets $1 million. Can't they handle the business stuff combined? I do see that argument too, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so it's not rocket science, but how many heads do you need to make it work?
Well, Ben McCollum's got a good head for figures.
That's what I'm saying. He and Beth should be able to handle what a general manager would do. Don't you agree, Captain?
I don't know.
Although he's your general manager. Can't you manage this place?
Oh, yes, he can.
Yeah, right.
You bet he can. I will give you my resignation this morning, friend.
I've already resigned. How many times have I resigned? And I'm still here.
Oh, you're eventually selling this thing to Lang and Mace, aren't you? Isn't that the plan?
Giving it to them.
You're going to give it to Lang and me?
That's what they think on social media.
That you're going to give it to Lang and Mace?
Give it to Lang.
Yeah, just give it to Tommy, and then
give it to him.
And then Tommy, and then his dad could actually be in here instead of having to call in.
Well, it's not like I won't permit him to be in here.
Well, no, but he does. I'm guessing if Tommy's the main guy, his dad will want him to be in here and celebrate the power.
Well, Gene doesn't even have a phone.
Well, in here it wouldn't matter. He'll have the microphone in front of him. The microphone will be his
constantly voice. Open.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Wouldn't that be good?
No.
No. No, sir, it would not.
But yeah, that is interesting that Johnny's back in the portal. He was a good kid. It's just, and it's weird just seeing, the son of somebody you grew up with, and I've known Bob for years, and we hadn't seen each other for 35, 40 years, and then his kid brings us together again by coming here. It was kind of neat. Remember, we've had Bob on the radio 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, but I mean, don't you think there should be a limit to how many?
Well, I think eventually there will be, but the argument's going to be, again, Captain, coaches can come and go. I mean, look at McCollum. He's on his 3rd job in 3 years.
And hopefully his last.
Well, what I'm saying, and I get it, I'm not faulting McCollum, but I'm just saying that's where people, but coaches can do whatever they want.
Yeah,
that's going to be the argument.
That's the profession.
I know McCollum spent 15 years at Northwest Missouri State, but he is on his 3rd job in 3 years, and more power to him. But that's what people would counter that by saying, is what I'm saying. And I do think I agree with you that it's just gotten to the point where it's just ridiculous now. It's just...
It really
I hate refreshing my Twitter because all it is Tipton edits and Hayes Fawcett and all the portal freaks with so-and-so is into the portal. Here are his 15 schools he's considering.
And they've been contacted by
47 schools. Here's his NIL value. And
I love it when they post and not those guys, but when people post, you heard it here first. And then you look at the next post.
And it's you heard it him.
Yeah, I mean, it's just...
I like it when guys put a list of like 25, 30 schools. Those are my favorite. So you say there is a chance. Those are the ones. The most I've seen was Bo Bassett, the wrestler, did a top 50 when he started. And he whittled it down throughout the process. He's really good. You remember we had him on.
Yeah.
He's really good at the PR part. And wrestling needs that. He's a really savvy PR person.
So is his nickname Hound? That'd be a good wrestling nickname.
Bo Bassett Hound? I used to have I had a Basset Hound for 10 years. Have you ever had a Basset Hound?
No.
They're an interesting dog.
No.
Stubborn.
Yeah.
Good dogs, but they can be ornery too. But she was great. She's the one, remember, we got her from the Drake dorm. Brought her home from the dorm.
I had a husky.
Huskies are interesting dogs.
Was that Timmy?
Yeah.
But Basset Hounds are interesting. We couldn't figure out why she was losing her hair on her tummy. And like it was a rash, and we took her to the vet, and the vet's like, "You guys have carpeted steps?" And they're like, "Does the dog sleep upstairs?" They're like, "Yeah, it sleeps up in bed with this little freak." I was like 8 years old at the time. They're like, "Yeah, every time it climbs up the steps, its belly rubs up against the carpet, and it had carpet rash." And I remember my dad like, "Jesus, what did we just pay for this diagnosis?" I'll never forget that. And our vet was our neighbor. He lived a block and a half down the street, and it was just the funniest thing. We were all worried that she had like the manger, and it was her tummy from rubbing on the steps. What do you think of that? She used to trip over her ears too.
We had a runted German Shepherd.
They're good dogs.
Named Hobo, and take him to the vet, and he'd just want to kill the vet. And
that's a problem.
Yeah,
it is a problem.
Yeah,
my dog.
And I'd have to say, well, I could say no, and he would just grr. But
my buddy in Lakota never really seemed to have an issue either way. They weren't thrilled, but they never really seemed to have an issue either way.
Well, because they knew they could take him out if they needed to.
I guess
the last two, Barry and Lily, they're fine with the vet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only problem with going to the vet is the price. That is one thing I don't. Man, I mean, any type of surgery on a dog is so expensive.
Since my cat on one side of the window hissed at the other cat and peed, the other cat hasn't been around.
Well, do you want to be around somebody that's peeing in your presence?
But the possum
still there?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you have a possum in your house?
No, but on the deck.
Okay.
Well, he's taking care of the ticks out there.
Yeah.
So it basically lives on your deck. Do you see it? Does it
under the deck?
Does it ever like sit out there during the middle of the day? Really?
Yeah. It doesn't have a problem. It doesn't run from you. No, it doesn't have a problem on occasion.
Do you feed it?
On occasion. Rare occasion, but yeah, I'll give it. I gave it a corn nut I got corn.
Did it eat it?
Yeah, I got nothing but. I went to the store yesterday just for Diet Coke, and I got nothing but junk.
They made Lance Forbes smile getting those corn nuts.
Yeah.
Where's the now you need nuts and now and laters and taffy and apples.
I got caramel popcorn. I got
what brand?
Almost Famous.
Oh, that's
good, real good.
Those are those $4.99 bags.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had those before. Yeah. Those are good.
Yeah, I got that.
Lance always says taffy, peanut brittle.
Yeah.
Bit of honey.
Bit of honeys.
Bit of honeys, really.
He says it's better to eat that stuff when you're intoxicated because you're more aggressive. That's the best way to go about it.
Well, why don't we take our break since
just kidding,
we've reached
Lance.
the end of our usefulness with the taffy discussion. So we'll be right back.
1-800-800-ROSE. 1-800-800-ROSE. Your FTD florist is the only number you need to know to send flowers anywhere in the country or Canada from anywhere in the country. 1-800-800-ROSE. It's so easy. Just remember one number. 1-800-800-ROSE. Your FTD florist. 1-800-800-ROSE. Remember.
For a gift that your loved one will treasure for a lifetime, find it at our family-owned jewelry store in Iowa City, Hertine and Stocker Jewelers.
We can show you diamond engagement rings, colored stones, fashion jewelry, and watches.
Our jewelers are on site, so we can design jewelry for that special person in your life.
We are Hertine and Stocker, serving Iowa City and the surrounding area for 3 generations.
Hertine and Stocker Jewelers, downtown Iowa City, and HertineandStockerJewelers.com. Ask for Willa, Terry, Tim, or Kate. One of us is always there.
Don't wait for an emergency to get a backup for your car keys. Unlike the olden days, car keys have gotten extremely complex. Mike's eKeys for Cars can generate the most technically advanced automotive keys that are on the market today. For spares and lost keys, Mike's eKeys for Cars can produce most conventional transponder, high security, and remote head keys. Mike's eKeys for Cars will keep you on the road. Call 319-330-9185 and schedule an appointment today. Don't wait until it's too late. Call 319-330-9185 319-330-9185 today.
You take great care to maintain your home or business inside and out. But maybe, just maybe, there's something missing. Something that makes your home stand out among the others in your neighborhood. Something that makes your business pop and increases traffic. Something that you can change and customize at your command. Well, there's a solution, and that's Illuminlight's permanent outdoor lighting from Big Dog Tech. Illuminlights provides illumination for every occasion. Holiday lighting, accent lights, security, and of course lighting for all your favorite sports. The Illuminlights app lets you create your own patterns with color, motion, brightness, and static control over every individual light, or use Big Dog's presets to transform your home or business. The professionally installed track system makes Illuminlight's LEDs virtually disappear until you turn them on. Rated at 50,000 hours, you'll enjoy stress-free convenience for years to come. For more information about Illuminlight's permanent outdoor lighting, go to BigDogTEK.net or give them a call at 319-395-0800. That's 319-395-0800.
Are you tired of living in a home that doesn't quite meet your needs? Then it's time to call the experts at Streets Maintenance. Their team of skilled professionals specializes in renovations and remodeling, transforming your home into the space you've always dreamed of. From kitchen bath remodels to complete home renovations, no job is too big or too small. Streets Maintenance will work with you every step of the way to ensure your vision becomes a reality. So don't wait any longer. Call Streets Maintenance to schedule your consultation at 400-4483. Let's start building your dream home today.
Once upon a time in the land of the Hawkeyes, a business grew. A business that would become synonymous with real estate. Hi, I'm Steve Anderson of Hawkeye Title and Settlement. When you're buying or selling your home, you'll need title and settlement services. Consider the Hawkeye Title and Settlement team. Give us a call at 351-8600. Hawkeye Title and Settlement, the team you love, the people you trust.
Don't let just anyone take care of your smile. At Diamond Dental, you can expect compassion, expertise, and a personalized care plan to protect your teeth for life. With more than 30 years of combined experience, Dr. Forbes and his staff are prepared to tackle even your toughest dental problems, leaving your smile healthy and sparkling. Diamond Dental offers a full range of general and cosmetic dentistry, as well as dental treatment options for snoring and sleep apnea. It's never too early to start thinking about what's best for your smile. Schedule an appointment today by calling 319-390-3703 or visiting the office at 5815 Consul Street Northeast, Suite D1 in Cedar Rapids. You can also visit DiamondDentalPC.com for more information. Dr. Forbes is a proud sponsor of the Hawkeye Wrestling Club and the Inner Circle. Let the Diamond Dental team provide superior care for your entire family.
This is Leah Pasha, and I've been saying, hit a deer, call Premier, for years. But it's time for something new. It's still where you need to go for deer divots and door dings, as well as damaged dashboards. That's what my dad Nathan's driving at and dreams about. Why not say, when your car is dinged, be a deer and call Premier? I think Dad's going to love that. Premier Automotive, North Liberty's premier auto body repair shop.
Be a deer and call Premier Auto Body in North Liberty.
Diamond Dream Sports Academy 20,000 square foot indoor facility holds 8 batting cages, space for infield work, space for throwing and pitching and all your arm care needs. Offers private instruction, group lessons, camps and clinics, leagues, memberships. Rentals available at Diamond Dreams is open to the public.
Our top level instructors include former professional, college, and Olympic athletes. Our coaches will help these athletes achieve their full athletic potential, develop a strong work ethic, and a solid base to build. The last thing you want to do is look back and wish you had worked or played harder.
Locally owned and established in 2005, Diamond Dreams is Eastern Iowa's premier training facility. Located at 2905 Stoner Court, North Liberty. Call today and reserve your time. 319-665-2173. 319-665-2173.
When you go to a family restaurant, you want 3 things. 1, a wide selection of breakfast, lunch, and dinner items. 2, you want those selections to be affordable and delicious. And 3, you want to be treated like family. You get all 3 at the Midtown Family Restaurant. Breakfast items available anytime the doors are open. Legendary tenderloins, onion rings, and hot roast beef sandwiches. And special ribeye and shrimp nights. Daily specials at each location. And no matter if you're coming in solo or with a group of 20, you get the same special family treatment. The Midtown Family Restaurants at Court and Scott Streets and at the Walmart Plaza on Highway 1 West. Follow them on Facebook or at midtownfamily.com. The family's waiting for you. GT Carr, owner of Supple's Building and Remodeling, has been offering unmatched service and quality for over 25 years. The trained professionals at Supple's Building and Remodeling will install and guarantee the products used in any job, no matter how big or small. They also stand behind their work and offer no-nonsense, exceptional customer service from design to completion and beyond. Whether it's a simple window replacement or a major house addition, you'll have the confidence that Supple's Building and Remodeling is committed to quality. Visit supples.net or call them today at 319-337-2246.
Hi, this is Tiffany at Senior Benefits. Are you confused with Medicare questions, anything having to do with Medicare? I take care of all Medicare customers, people under 65. I also do life insurance, long-term care, cancer insurance. I'm here to help you navigate any questions that you may be having or frustrations and anxiety that you may have with Medicare or insurance in general. Give me, Tiffany Rao, a call at 319-631-4795.
We've said it for years. We want to give you our best price or most competitive price up front, and now Ford's brought that to the table.
Just makes you feel good.
Patrick Eads and Terry Adams with Deary Ford.
It's a true Ford employee pricing plan.
As if you work for Ford or you're a retiree from Ford.
You could walk in and buy a new Ford for less money than I could purchase one for.
I have never seen Ford do a sale like this.
The From America for America event through June 2nd.
Shop Deary Ford, Iowa City.
When we say here for you, we mean.
Hi, this is Bill Leixenring from the Oxyoke Inn. The Oxyoke Inn is now serving daily. Our Oxyoke family is ready to serve you with the same quality of food and service you've come to trust since 1940. Now serving lunch, dinner, banquets, and carry-out daily with 4 portion sizes. Sundays featuring our famous brunch buffet. You can also order curbside carryout and pies to go online and take the comforting taste of the Oxyoke home to your family's table. Visit oxyokeinn.com for hours, menus, reservations, carryout, specials, and gift cards. From our Oxyoke family to yours, we can't wait to see you again soon. Oxyoke Inn, in the heart of Amana.
The Oxyoke Inn.
From the Hertine and Stalker Studios in the heart of the Hawkeye Nation, this is the mighty 1630 KCJJ, Iowa City.
Hertine and Stalker Jewelers, making memories, making moments.
We had a cool front move through. Today is going to be windy and a bit cooler than yesterday, but we'll still get into the upper 50s to low 60s. Mostly sunny. The wind will pick up out of the northwest, gusting to 35 here by this afternoon. Tonight we'll drop to 38. Tomorrow, mostly sunny. The wind will gradually die down with a high near 60. We'll get to 65 on Wednesday, back to near 70 with a few scattered showers or thunder showers by Thursday. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable on the mighty 1630 KCJJ. Currently it's 51.
KCJJ weather, brought to you by Plum Supply.
Plum Supply, kitchens and baths. Your home never looks so beautiful.
You can pick up your auction certificates right now. You can pick up your auction certificates now at the station, or else you can call us and give us your information. We will mail the certificates out today.
We will.
You can do this all week between 8 and 4.
Yep.
So,
and it's happening out there right now, Captain.
I know.
The office
the wheels of commerce turning slowly but steadily, Steve.
This office is bustling with activity.
Now, Jim's going to leave early, or you're gonna be here?
Yeah.
Okay.
There'll be people here.
Molly's
in Boston.
Yeah.
Oh, what's she doing out there?
Visiting some friends.
Partying. Yeah. Boston Tea Party.
Yeah, that's what she
Boston Tea Party. They were protesting the tariffs.
They're gonna
folks.
They're gonna just destroy Chestnut Hill, right? You ever been to Boston?
Once.
I've been there once. Actually, I went there with the Press Citizen to cover Iowa versus Boston College. Licklider, I think it was. That Big Ten ACC Challenge.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of some Paul Revere stuff, and then Fenway Park.
Fenway Park did nothing for me.
Yeah.
I just drove by it. It was, it's not the most appealing from the outside. I know the tradition, but Chestnut Hill and all that was pretty cool.
I went to the game that was there and had a. Yeah, we had to actually walk to get our beers. They didn't have any vendors, which we thought was extremely tacky back then.
You know, we were there, and very thin, narrow streets.
I remember that.
Narrow streets.
And I remember walking the Boston College campus. It was kind of a neat campus.
Yeah. Very kind of a European feel to it.
Yeah.
I remember some red brick streets.
Yeah.
And what have you. But, yeah, no, I was there barely 24 hours.
There was a show called Boston Commons that was on for a short time.
Uh-huh.
And I went and saw where they filmed the opening and everything.
Look at this. So I looked up, somehow this came up, College Football Transfer Portal. It's one of I think it's on threes. Entered 2,912. This is football.
2,912 players.
Committed 1,749. Withdrawn 108. So that's where we are right now.
Over 1,000 still looking for a home. Wow.
And then I just think about that.
Well, it's not going to work out for a lot of them.
I'm looking at some of the comments underneath the On3 story about Pascuzzi. This type of thing is what I would vote to change. Using the transfer portal as an out whenever you signed on the line, bud. Nobody put a gun to your head. Ride the pine like a man for a year and work. That's the first post underneath the Pascuzzi story, calling him out. Maybe he should come back to Iowa.
And ride the pine.
Oh, he'd play. I mean,
he played some.
Yeah, he played the last 3 years.
He sure did. He played some.
I mean, they used him a ton in blocking. Yeah, there's a lot of Iowa fans asking him to come back. No, these are just the way it is, and it's not gonna change. I still think there's this sense from a lot of the old timers. Eventually, sanity is gonna rule supreme again, and I don't. I think people have different definitions of what they believe sanity is now.
Toothpaste is out of the tube, or the genie out of the bottle, whatever you want to use.
And the kids are going to get paid. That's just the way it is. They're going to get paid.
I think there'll be
I'm hoping there's some type of structure, but I just don't know.
There'll be employees at some point in time.
Well, that's what I've been saying.
Have to sign a contract and won't be able to jump in and out.
Yeah, but then will schools be able to trade? Well, we'll start having student athletes traded. Like,
well,
why not? Imagine that.
As I said that, I realized that the Supreme Court knocked down no competes.
Yeah.
So, as I said.
Wouldn't that be wild, though, colleges trading? Like Iowa would have traded.
What would we have gotten from Creighton?
I don't know. Not
coach?
You wouldn't have gotten back what you gave them.
No.
But that would be interesting to see if it ever comes to that. Yeah, that would be. But you never say never. I never dreamed we'd be in this situation right now.
No, never.
So, hell, maybe there will be trade someday. That would be so bizarre. Trading college athletes. Hey, Iowa worked out a 3-way deal with Michigan and Indiana, and they get this, and these guys. I mean, do you think it's going to be that way someday?
Could.
See, I wouldn't like that.
Well, I don't like it now.
I mean, I don't like it now, but I don't. But the old way wasn't good either, where athletes were just getting nothing but exploited. That way wasn't working either, because the coaches were still making their millions, and coaches do come and go. When Sean Miller left Arizona, not under the greatest circumstances, went back up to Xavier. Now the first chance a major one comes back, boom, thanks Xavier, but I'm out of here, and that's fine. But when coaches do that, it doesn't seem to have the same effect on people as when athletes do it.
Yeah.
Oh, the kids are running the asylum.
Well, it's like
the coaches are part of the asylum.
And this all started because of Pong.
Was that the game that?
Video game.
Is that the video game that a friend was playing with Ed O'Bannon back in 1996 or whatever?
But there were no players in Pong.
I know, but that's started.
So I used to play Pong with my feet and beat people.
Did you have the outline of the?
Yeah, burned on the TV screen.
Yeah,
you bet. Sure did.
I don't even know what you're talking. I never saw Pong. I don't even know what it is.
It was basically table tennis.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
And they had.
Instead of standing and actually playing it, you're playing it on a video game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You're twisting a knob.
Yeah.
And your paddle is a rectangle.
There's a lot of people that played that were twisting a knob.
That was huge People couldn't believe you could do it.
Oh, no, it was amazing.
I do remember it. The thing, that thing.
Yes.
Yeah. It just never.
And then it burned in the TV tubes.
I just would rather. I would have chose death over playing that game.
That was fun.
Seriously, I would have chosen death.
No, not at the time.
I played Pac-Man every once in a while.
You would have been amazed.
No, I was. I saw it. I had a chance to be amazed.
How old were you when Pong came out?
When did it come out?
70s.
Well, I would have been like in 10, 11. Like what? It came out that long ago?
Yeah.
I thought it came out.
But yeah, no, I never.
I would say 74
I didn't play any of those.
72.
Okay, I was 8. But I didn't play any of those games. I never was interested in video games. Like Dungeons and Dragons, that's not a video game, but
Molly and some of her friends still play it.
I've never played it.
My daughter-in-law still plays.
Yeah, I don't even know what it is. But there's just a lot of things that I never.
Pong, a simple two-player game involving hitting a ball back and forth across the screen. Pong's intuitive controls, iconic sound, and satisfying gameplay
Answer the phone.
made it a social activity
Yeah.
that could be mastered in seconds.
It was fun.
Knob twisting.
Huge.
The Knob Twisters.
Hello.
Good name for a band.
Good morning, fellows.
Morning.
I just have a couple of comments on a couple of your comments.
Okay.
First of all, I think there was a comment about, previously the players didn't get anything, and
scholarships.
Having just spent a little over $100,000 for my son's college education, and that doesn't include the tutoring, the nutrition.
Sure.
No, I get that. They didn't get any of the profits, is what I'm saying. They didn't get any of the revenues.
Some of those profits went to pay for those scholarships.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get you. Yes, you're right. Okay, if you want to take my exact words and say I was wrong, yes, I get you. Yes, they were getting free education. They were getting room and board if they were on scholarship. They weren't getting any of the millions of dollars in revenue that was going to all the big wigs, the executives, the head coaches, and all that stuff. They're getting that now. But yes, they were getting stuff before: scholarship, room and board, and a small stipend. But they weren't getting any of the millions in revenue that they were helping to bring in for all the sports.
The other thing is, in terms of coaches leaving, one of the differences is with coaches leaving, there's usually a buyout of a contract. And with players leaving, there's no reciprocity. So
that is true.
I think that's the one thing that needs to be taken a look at. Players have no skin in the game right now. They're free to do whatever they wish to do without really the only negative thing that could possibly happen, and what Tom mentioned, there could be some guys that will not find a place to land.
And there's
that's
a lot of them.
That's been going on. That's the risk they take.
And that's a lot of them.
If your son, okay, he goes through college, he plays, he's successful, and then a couple years later, he sees this video game being sold for $30, $40, and millions of them are being sold with him on it. Wouldn't you want him to get something from it?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how this whole thing started.
The original discussion and agreement, but it wasn't the multi-million-dollar, $4 million to come to Texas Tech to play basketball next year.
Well, it is though, because that's where we are.
Yeah,
it is that. So to say it wasn't that is wrong, because it is there, and those are adults that are paying that money to these kids. These kids aren't holding guns to people's heads saying the adults are all doing this.
Yeah,
the coaches, they're all doing
coaches and the agents.
Yes, they're the ones doing
ADs.
this. So your beef should be with them, not with the athletes who are smart enough to take the money that's being offered to them.
I don't have a beef with the athletes at all. I have a beef with the system.
Yeah, the system has flaws.
I think it would be foolish to say that if you were talented enough to get $1 million to go somewhere and play basketball, who wouldn't do that? I mean, that's
sure.
That's right. Yes, no, I completely agree. Yeah, I agree.
But I think there just needs to be some control in it. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's you can transfer 1 year free, and then you have to sell a year after that, or I don't know what it is.
That's what they used to have.
Just draw a lot more lawsuits. There probably not a whole lot they can do about it.
I don't think there is.
It's just going to be. It's just going to be going forward. Is who's willing to pay to play, and unfortunately, I don't see any way it's going to go back to.
Oh, it's never going back. It's not going back.
It's not going to go back.
No, it can't go back.
This is the issue.
See, the other thing that's just starting to crop up is the Tennessee quarterback that ate us alive. He's pissed because he doesn't feel the NIL deal that he made for $2 million
He wanted
a
$4
year
million,
ago.
and Tennessee wasn't going to be held hostage. I'm on Tennessee side on this one.
Yes, I am too.
I'm on Tennessee side on this
But
one.
he wanted his NIL deal changed, and they said nope.
And it sounds like he was reaching out to other schools when he was still at so I'm on Tennessee side on this one.
100%.
And isn't in a way that's what's kind of going on right now? From what I understand, from what I've read and listened to, is that let's say you're a freshman at Iowa, and you're getting $100,000 this year from Iowa to play, and so your agent, you have a good year, so your agent comes back and says to Iowa, okay, that $100,000 is not enough. We need $200,000 or $300,000, whatever the number is. Because I've already reached out to schools that are willing to pay this fellow.
Absolutely, that's
that amount
happening.
of money.
Oh yeah, that's
100%.
Yes, that's the world we live in now.
May have happened with Aaliyah Guyton. We don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And so the question is, as far as recruiting freshmen, and I think that's why if you look at football in Southern Florida, the number of athletes that have got scholarships to play Division I football was down 40% this last year. So as more people look at other avenues, the portal to bring in players, the true high school player is being hurt. And I think the other thing to take a look at is if I were running a basketball program right now, I would strongly look at junior college players. Because not only does their eligibility clock doesn't start now, is that there's a big pool of players that you could go out there, and so far they're not demanding the kind of money that's in the portal. So,
and you get an older athlete.
And you get an older athlete.
Okay, now to be devil's advocate, there's a reason they're in junior college.
For certain.
Not knocking junior colleges, but sometimes it's academics. Sometimes it's they weren't good enough to
not quite good enough
get what they wanted. So,
Yep.
but I'm just saying that's out there too. But I get what you're saying.
Well, so many times it's because they were late developers, and they go to a junior college, they get an opportunity to develop. They mature maybe a little bit later in life, and all of a sudden now that they're a player, there's some great examples of junior college players that are playing in the NBA or in the NFL today. So, in football, Iowa Western is a great example of kids that have gone there. And having gone to a junior college myself years and years ago, I can tell you that in terms of the issues that I would say that a lot of the reason that people go to a junior college is for that development. And grades can be an issue, but I didn't see that, and of course that's been years ago.
Well, if you look at Iowa basketball history, some of our very, very best players were junior college players first.
Well, I had the opportunity to play in the early 70s, so I'm old. But in those days, Ellsworth, my freshman year, won the national title. 3 players on that team went on and played in the NBA. And then the following year, Burlington won the national title. So there were some great players in the state of Iowa. And I would say in that 71, 72, Ellsworth group was probably the best team in the state of Iowa.
They probably were.
Well, Grandview used to be great in junior college basketball.
Yeah.
With Dave Sissom as the coach, they got guys from all over the country.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Now, prep schools, I
Okay,
think, have
thank
hurt
you.
junior colleges a little bit, too. There's a
I
lot
think
more
so.
prep schools now, and a lot of players are using that at, like, the Murray twins. Instead of going junior college, they went to a prep school.
Yeah, exactly. But now that the ruling came out that your eligibility clock doesn't start while you're in a junior college, doesn't that kind of negate that? I mean, doesn't that...
It may sound, but prep schools are very popular. Prep schools are very popular right now. I mean, but I think they both can coexist.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Ultimately, options are a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. More options, the better.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I to suggest that I was saying they didn't get anything before. No, they got a lot: room and board and tuition.
Well, yeah.
And yeah, I've got friends of mine that are paying for kids in college right now, and
we did it twice at private colleges.
And
so
they basically said it's not fun. They're listening. They used to hear me whine about my cable bill when they're paying $28,000 in tuition.
Yeah.
One buddy of mine told me where I could put my cable bill. Seriously, he did.
Hello.
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 This doesn't have a lot to do with modern college athletics, but I got out the Al Grady History of Iowa Football books.
Yeah.
December of '73, he was hired. So the season of '74, his first year, it was announced he would make $25,000, and he would have a year-to-year contract. Everyone in the athletic department is working under an annual appointment now, including me, said Bump Elliott. That's the standard university procedure.
Okay.
And I believe, let's say a teacher was making about $5,000 back then. That'd be 5 times what a teacher made.
Mm-hmm.
So you can extrapolate that out to how it's going way beyond that. But they also had to take 12 hours of school. Now they only need to take 6 hours. So
that's all?
I'm sure. Yep.
Wow.
I'm sure some of them take more and are serious students, and a lot of them probably take the 6 hours.
Well, I'll tell you what, the women's basketball program, those gals are taking full advantage of their opportunities. You bet they are. That's why.
I mean, why wouldn't you? With tutors and everything,
sure,
you can come out with a great degree. But I'm sure a lot of these that are transferring 3-4 times are taking the very minimum.
I would think so too. But like Kylie Feuerbach came back again. She's going to finish up her advanced degree, and she's taking full advantage.
Absolutely, yeah. You can't say the same thing about. They're all different. So. Yeah, it's just interesting how much Cummings made back then.
Yeah. No, it's a completely different world in every possible way.
I think Hayden started at 44, I think, was his first salary, if I remember correctly.
Well, sounds about right, yeah. Well, and back then, if you wanted to see Iowa basketball, I think the Big Ten had a rule with the network. You'd see guaranteed one game a year for every school. If you're having a good year, you might be on twice on regional TV.
Yeah.
And same with football. Iowa would get on one time a year, and that was it.
Well, back then, that was probably a good thing.
Yeah, that was a good.
It sure was.
That was enough.
It was more than enough.
Imagine that 73 team getting on every week.
More than enough.
Lauderberg, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I went to school here 2 years and won one game.
God. Yeah, they were
the bad old days.
Very good.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for the call.
Well, my dad in '63 bought a Pontiac Tempest for $2,100.
Yeah.
Did your dad like Frank Lauderberg?
What years was Frank here? 72, 3, 4?
Yes. 72, 70. Well, I know he was there 72, 73, 70. No, I think he was there 71, 72, 73, because wasn't Cummings 74, 75, 76, 77? Cummings was there 5 years, right?
I believe so.
But Lauderberg was there in the 72, 73.
My dad he had just had his kidney transplant up in Madison at the end of the 60s.
So he didn't probably spend a lot of time?
So he did. No, he was encouraged by Lauderberg initially.
He thought it was a good hire initially.
He thought it was. Everybody thought it was a good
wasn't he at
hire.
Toledo dominant?
Yes, a very good defensive mind.
And a lot of coaches were coming out of that area, Ohio, so you could see why Bump would go for him. But
and then a Cummings came out of there, too. Macedon, right?
But you could see why at the time Bump went with Lauterbur, but boy, did that turn out to just
Didn't work. Boy,
when
you
did you
never
realize it was a disaster? Could you tell right away?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. The team, the first year was kind of disjointed. And
Think about going to Iowa football a year without winning the game. Could you imagine what that would be like now?
Oh,
how? I mean, just
well, you would see what happened with Fran, and Fran even had a winning.
They had a winning season.
Yeah.
But imagine if they, could you imagine if they went 0-12?
Oh, there'd be torches and the tar and feather.
God, it would.
I mean, you'd still have your share of people that go because of the tailgating. But back in the day, you could go in, come in, watch a little bit of football, and then go back to your tailgate.
No, but if they had a season as bad as not even if they go 3-9 or something, Tom, attendance is going to suffer.
Oh yeah,
you'll start seeing. I mean, football's
Sure
attendance isn't just something that's just always there. I remember in the '90s there were games where there were 8,000-10,000 empty seats.
For sure.
Hello.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hi, John.
That's John Balmer. That's interesting conversation. I remember the Lauterbur era and the Cummings era quite well. And Lauterbur came from Toledo, and his very first game against Ohio State, he had a 160-pound middle guard, and Ohio State just killed him. And I'll never forget that because Woody said to Frank after the game, after they demolished us, a little too small on the defensive line. So, yes, that he had a great run at Toledo, and remember Ducky Lewis was his defensive coordinator.
You bet.
And that did not go well. I like Frank Lauterbur, but he just it was out of his element. And, Bo Schembechler came from that conference to go to Michigan. So back in the day.
Well, you just never know. The ones that are going to take, and the ones that when they move up, they really gain traction and become superstar coaches. And there's some that just they're past. Well, Alford couldn't do it.
No.
He's succeeded at the New Mexico and the Las Vegas levels, but that's it.
Yeah. Well, he got the money and ran. He got the UCLA money and ran. Now he's at Nevada, Reno, or someplace like that. Just the other thing, and it's been interesting. I don't, as I've told you guys, I don't like the landscape anymore of college athletics, any way, shape, or form. I donate every year for the privilege of buying tickets, and I'm going to designate that money just go to scholarships. I have no interest in giving money to NIL, and I realize that's probably heresy, but I don't.
It's not heresy. It's just if everybody has that mindset, we're going to have 0-12 seasons every year because we're not going to be able to compete.
Well, I'm sorry, Tom. We're just not. We're not going to ever compete on that level with the money. We just don't have that big a donor base.
We can't compete for the top 5, maybe, but we can absolutely compete in the top 25.
Yeah. Well, I just don't. I don't see how we're going to compete with the likes of. Well, look at Nebraska. Look what they offered Price Sanford. I heard he got offered $2.5 million.
That doesn't mean they're going to have a good team.
And that doesn't mean it's true either, just because you heard it.
No, I realize, but it's still they have money up to you know what, and it's ridiculous the money they're doling out. I mean, I'm a little disappointed in him in the fact that I thought he made the comment while he was going to come back because Iowa was his first choice. Well, it's obvious that.
But Iowa just fired his coach. He watched with his eyeballs like I did and like you did, the people not coming out to support the team. So his loyalty to Iowa was pretty well strained at that point.
And he had a good relationship with Fred Hoiberg. Nebraska was right there with Iowa. Yep. It came down to wanting to play with Peyton. That's
his brother. That's right.
No, Nebraska was very close to Price.
Fellas, I understand that. But, the reason the team wasn't coming out is because frankly, I think we had McCaffrey fatigue. And when you're playing New Orleans and New Hampshire, it's not conference. I'm sorry, that just doesn't cut it when you're a season ticket holder. Now I'm going to buy season tickets again for the men. I'm coming back after 5 years because I feel much better about McCullum and hoping that he'll. We've had women's tickets for 40 plus years, and that's an entertaining product still.
Yeah,
but
it is.
It's I'm a dinosaur, just like Captain Steve, and
Well, don't drag him down.
Yeah, don't. What are you dragging me into?
I will say, though, John, Tom's right, though.
Drag you right down with us.
John, I will say, though, Tom's right. If more people think like you, then Iowa's in serious trouble.
Yeah,
there's no right or wrong. I'm not saying you're right. I'm just stating reality. This is the world we live in. If thousands of people take on your attitude, Iowa will not compete.
And we will, in fact, fall to the bottom of the conference quickly.
Well, what's wrong with wanting to give money to scholarships?
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that
You've got enough money. You could give it to scholarships. You could give it to
Hawk Fanatic.
Yeah, you could be advertising on this station.
KCJJ, Hawk Fanatic.
Yeah. No.
Here we go.
Scholarships are overrated compared to Hawk Fanatic. Wouldn't you agree, Captain?
Get yourself a couple BMWs in your driveway.
Teslas.
I'm a fiscal conservative. Don't you know that?
I see you driving around in that Tesla.
Yeah.
Hey, now, guys, I will step back. We donated, my family, we donated significantly to wrestling. We donated to the new facility. I mean, that was we gave, frankly, $25,000 to that, $5,000 for 5 years. I mean, that's
a chunk.
I'm not bragging, but that's what we did. And we set up an endowment in my mother's name for $100,000 for the wrestling program. So, it's not that we haven't done things, but I just, I'm sure I'm a lone ranger on this stuff, but I just, I'm going to pick and choose where my money goes.
Well, John, you're right.
You have that right.
But you just said $125,000, I believe, and it's going to pay for kids to go to school. I mean, that's
well, that $25,000, Tom, was for the facility. That was for the new wrestling facility.
That was.
But that's a significant donation.
You give that to me, and I could be eating at Joseph's every night.
Steve, if I had your money, I'd be long retired, my old buddy friend.
Whatever.
No, and that $100,000, you're right. That can be used. They'll use that at the wrestling, however the brands want to use it. But it's in a foundation type of thing. But yeah, it's not that we haven't donated. It's just that I'm just irritated at this whole thing. Frankly, I guess again, I'm a curmudgeon on this whole thing. So.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
All right. Thank you, John.
Thanks, fellas, for listening. See you later. Bye-bye.
Why does he think I have money?
I don't know. I don't know why he would think that.
You own a a successful radio station.
Yeah. Whatever. I mean, yeah, it's a successful radio station, but I got 10 employees.
Yeah.
And him. Yeah, Harty, holding his hand out, gripping that check out of my hand.
Tomorrow's payday.
Yeah, I know. You don't think I know it's payday? You don't think that when I sign those checks, which I don't do?
You don't sign them.
Yeah, I don't sign them.
And you call it blood money.
It is. It's blood money. I could be given to the
I'm trying to think about
NIL.
Trying to think of how good Hawk Fanatic would be doing with John Ballmer's donations. Think about that. $125,000.
Oh, you'd be Essen and Tall Cotton.
No, he's given to. I mean, that's his prerogative.
No, and
that's great.
Yeah, but it still doesn't take away the fact that NIL is what's going to determine the product on the field more than anything else now.
Yeah,
and to turn your head from that is, I mean, I don't know. It's just because John wants him to win.
Well, he can't do everything.
No, he can't. But I'm guessing if you asked Iowa, do you think they'd rather have him give that $125 more to NIL or to what he did?
Depends who you ask
in
Iowa.
Well, I'm sure in Iowa
person
wrestling
who's responsible for raising the money for the facilities say
but
yeah.
If you're an Iowa wrestling fan, though, I bet somebody will take care of the facilities. We need NIL money, I mean, because they spend a lot of money to get wrestlers here.
Well, I think what happens is you get certain people who, usually brick and mortar is what people are comfortable giving to.
Well, that's old-fashioned donating.
It is.
Old-fashioned fundraising.
But it's still, you can look at it and say, I helped to do
that. That used to be the main thing for fans, besides buying tickets, of
Yeah.
course, and sports attire
Yeah.
from your school, is you help when they're doing facility upgrades. But
Yes.
now NIL has taken priority over all that stuff.
It has.
It has, whether you want to admit it or not. It just has.
Well, the facility arms race has been run for the most part. I mean, you still have to keep up, but the $300 million splashy thing, some of those are done with. The schools have already done them, and they're done doing them.
I mean, facility-wise, right now, Carver needs upgraded, but like
sure.
Kinnick's
incredible.
Kinnick's fine right now. I don't know if what more you can do to make Kinnick any better. I guess you could make the south end zone the same as the north end zone, if you wanted to nitpick. But Carver definitely needs some renovations, and I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And but yeah, no, this is just the world we live in, and it is strange though to me how Iowa is one of the fan bases that is struggling the most with this, to accept it and to figure out how to coexist with it. Wouldn't you agree? At least in the Big Ten, it seems to be.
Yeah, they're saying we're kind of, sort of, towards the middle of the
creeping
pack.
Towards the middle.
Yes.
They've been in the lower part,
yes,
but now they're sort of creeping towards the middle, and
but then that number keeps going up.
And what's
too.
interesting, and I don't want to act like I'm criticizing Iowa fans, but part of the reason it surprises me is there's no professional sports teams here competing for your dollar.
No.
To me, that's a big deal. Like, if you're a Minnesota Gopher fan, but you're also a Timberwolf, Twin, think about all the different ways you'd have to spend money. Now, I know there's Iowa fans that live here that probably go to Cub games, but you know what I'm saying, though. There's nothing in state that's really competing with your dollar from a professional sports point of view, and yet they're still struggling to raise the money.
Yeah.
I find that interesting.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
I know this NIL frustrates a lot of Iowa fans, but they act like we've been competing nationally in football and men's basketball. We haven't competed nationally in 40 or 50 years. I mean, the last time in the 50s, they might have been voted number 1 or 2 in the nation football. In basketball, we haven't been to the Final Four since 80 or won a Big Ten men's since 70 outright.
Football team's
really
been pretty good
nationally on any of this stuff, so I don't know why.
Well, that isn't
so
quite true.
Now.
It's not quite true. I mean, the Iowa football team, granted, it's been 20 years now, but we finished 8th in the country 3 straight years. That is competing.
Playoffs started.
I'm sorry, what?
Well, since playoffs started, you can be ranked in the top 10. I think Kirk Ferentz was ranked in the top 10 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
And they had maybe 2 or 4 teams in the playoffs. But back in the heyday when Iowa was doing much better, the Southeast Conference wasn't even integrated.
Well, the game's changed.
I guess I don't see.
Game's changed since the 50s.
Right. And I just don't feel like they're ready to compete before NIL the last 10, 20 years on any of this.
Well, no, neither football or basketball are elite. I mean, no. I mean, if that's where you're drawing the line, no, neither one is elite. Football has flirted with being elite at times, sporadic. I mean, lately, though, no, football has not been elite. And so, yeah, I guess you're right in that point. But what is your point, though? I'm not sure what you're driving at.
Well, I guess the point is people say now we can't compete because of NIL. Well, we weren't competing anyway. That's my point.
Oh, okay. I think what people are worried about when they say that, like what Tom says, is they're worried that they're not going to be able to even come close to doing those 3 top 10 finishes 20 years ago. That's what I think they're saying. They're not going to be able to keep competing at the level, even though it's not elite. It's still been pretty good, and they're worried that they're not going to be able to sustain that. Is that fair?
To be pretty good. That's very fair.
Good. Yeah, no, I don't think anyone with any rational way of thinking believes that Iowa is elite in any sport over the years besides wrestling. I mean, where else have they been?
In the 50s, basketball
and football, but I wasn't even alive.
No, I know.
And black guys hardly played.
Well, yeah.
I guess. I mean, we had 2 first-team All-Americans recently in basketball, men's basketball. We couldn't even get in the Sweet 16.
No, you're right. Now, if you're basing it all on the tournament, yes, but they did win a Big Ten tournament with Keegan Murray, and that means something. But, yes, if you're basing it all on NCAA tournament, yes, that has been a shortcoming. And that's part of the reason Fran's gone.
And the funny thing is if we had managed to beat that Richmond team like we should have, this narrative would have been diffused, and Fran might still be here.
Not unless – what if he lost in the second round, though?
Well, but we still would have gotten that one monkey off our back.
Well, Fran won first-round games. He beat Grand Canyon. He beat...
but he never made it to the second
No,
weekend.
he never made it. He never... But see, what I'm saying is, they could have beaten Richmond, but then lost in the next game. They still wouldn't have made it to the second week. I still think the frustration would have been there.
No, we beat Grand Canyon and then lost, wasn't it? And then lost to Richmond.
I thought Richmond was the first round.
I don't think so.
We'll have to look it up.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, I guess, it depends on what your goal is. If your goal is Sweet 16, that doesn't seem very high.
Well, no, it doesn't, but we haven't been there for so long that it seems since 1999.
And people are worried that they're not going to be able to stay at the same level because NIL's making it even harder to compete, is I think what the worry is.
And, okay, now, do I think that Iowa will be number one in football again in my lifetime? Don't know. Probably not. But I do think we can compete for the top 12 and make it into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And will that be good enough for me? I think it will be.
Yeah, to me, if you're finishing making the playoff, that's a job well done for any Iowa coach.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, with the expanded playoff, Indiana proved you could get in there with a good schedule.
Yeah, in a surprise upset in the 22 NCAA tournament, Richmond Spiders defeated the Hawkeyes 70-67 in the first round. I knew that was the first round game, but I don't know what.
Yeah, those
Tom,
are
it's right here.
Okay. Grand Canyon and Richmond.
Those are different seasons.
Okay.
Well, in any event, we still should have.
Well, yes, they still. But all I'm saying is
So when we beat Grand Canyon, was it Oregon we lost to then?
I can't remember. I can't remember who it was.
Badly.
Yeah, the Oregon game. The Oregon
15,
game. The Oregon game wasn't even close. I mean, it was just. I mean, they had trouble. They couldn't get the ball up the court against Oregon's pressure defense.
No, that was. We were. Boy, that was awful.
But no, I think if Fran had just made it to the Sweet 16 in one of these recent seasons, I think that would have given him more time. I think it would have helped the fans a little bit, but it didn't happen, and the fan disconnect was there. Fran seems happy out where he is now, so hopefully maybe everybody can come away from this happy in the long run.
Well, hopefully, and Fran's back in an old school environment as it can get.
Yes.
And good for him, I think.
NIL won't be as near a big a challenge for him there. He'll have other challenges, of course, but the Ivy League's it's not an easy league to win. They got good teams in the Ivy League.
They do.
Hey, thanks for the
time. Oh, you bet.
Hey, thanks for the call.
But yeah, no, I don't think anyone here is under the impression that Iowa's ever been elite in anything besides wrestling. And when I say elite, that means a chance almost every year to either win the national title or be in the top 3 to 4. And that wrestling is still, they finished
We were
fourth
the gold standard of the period.
Yeah, and football had its little run there in the 50s. But things were different then. It was one platoon football. Iowa was one of the few teams that had blacks. And it was it's just hard to compare those eras.
Yep, and Bucky O'Connor made it to the Final Four twice, but there were only 16 teams in there.
Yeah, it's completely different. Yeah. And there weren't near as many.
Make the Final Four.
And there weren't near as many African Americans playing basketball. Although the dominant force at the time was Bill Russell, so the ones that did play did dominate. But no, I think I agree with what the caller said. I think he just kind of stated a little bit too harshly, kind of dismissing what Iowa's done. Because football, they have flirted, but now it's. I mean, the 15 team, that team flirted with being, but obviously it wasn't elite. I mean, it got exposed in the.
No, we took advantage of a relatively easy schedule.
Yep.
And then when we got against one of the big boys, we were flattened.
The 2002 team, as good as it was, didn't have to play Ohio State, and then got pounded by USC. What was the final? Was that 38-13? Something like that?
I can't. It was 10-10 at half. I remember that.
Yeah, it was 10-10 at half, and then Iowa just quit running the ball.
Yeah.
And it just was no, and I still think USC was one of the better teams in the. I think USC would have maybe beaten Ohio State that year had they played them.
Yeah, they were good.
USC was really good. They lost early that season, but I think they finished 10. That was a really good USC team. I mean, Carson Palmer was playing at the top of his game.
He was incredible.
Yeah, but no, this NIL discussion, it's ongoing. I know it's very passionate.
It is frustrating. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, I get it too, but other fan bases seem to be saying, "All right." Where do I sign?
Yeah, I think part of it is we don't have a whale.
What's Nebraska's whale?
I don't know, but I'm not sure, but they've got a couple of them.
But who are they?
I can't.
But they also have 60,000 people that show up for spring games.
Yeah.
And my guess is those people are probably more willing to pay NIL. I mean, I was lucky to have 8,000 at a spring. It's just a different beast. Yeah. Now, in fairness, too, though, Nebraska has no other school in state to compete. Imagine if you combined Iowa with Iowa State.
We'd have some good teams.
You could easily, those fans, when Iowa and Iowa State both play on the same day, there's 120,000 people in the stadiums combined, in the two stadiums. Right. Think about that.
Yeah.
So, Nebraska has some advantages that Iowa, just because they don't have any in-state competition to deal with. And I think that's a big difference, too.
Well, and they've been relevant in football. Well,
they've
been elite in football much sooner, not sooner, but much closer in time frame than...
They were elite in the 80s. They were elite for most of the 90s.
Yes.
And that's a big stretch. That's a long
Iowa
stretch.
Was the 50s.
Iowa was the 50s, and it was short-lived, too.
It was.
Yeah. And Evie had a year. Didn't Evie go 5-4, like in 59 or 6? I mean, they stubbed their toe a few times under Evie.
They did. Yeah. They did.
But no, it was just a completely different product back then. With one platoon football, you didn't have to have near as many players. It was just a lot easier. Now, one of the great things about Evie is Evie was a pioneer as far as racial equality, but Evie was no fool either. He knew those black guys were good players, and Evie wanted to win. And he didn't care what color you were as long as you could play football, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah, I agree.
DEI.
What?
DEI.
Yeah, DEI, God. I get so sick of hearing that. How about that freak that torched the governor's mansion?
Yeah.
See his last name? Balmer.
Yeah, yeah, what do you got to say, John?
Yeah, John. Should we end on that note?
Sure.
All right.
Okay, well, we'll end on that. No police reports today, so Molly Catherine Suter is in Boston, so Tom Heath coming up next.
KCJJ, brought to you by